All right, welcome back to another episode of Are You Not Entertained podcast, and let's just get straight into the shenanigans for this week in gaming. Arc Raiders just dropped 30% of its player base. 30%. That is not a dip. That is not a normal fluctuation for Arc Raiders. That is a serious momentum hit. And here's the bigger question. Is the hype starting to fade for Arc Raiders? Because when a live service shooter loses that many players at this point, it sends a message. And guess who's watching? Bungie. Marathon is right around the corner. And actually, they go to server testing on the 26th. And if Arc Raiders start slipping, this might be the exact window for Bungie that Bungie needs to step in and take over the extraction shooter space. So is this the beginning of Arc Raiders' decline or the start of a competitive takeover? All right, so let's break this down. A 30% player drop doesn't automatically mean the game is dying. I want to repeat that. Doesn't mean the game is dying, but the timing matters. Arc Raiders had a strong buzz, strong early engagement, a loyal community forming. But when numbers fall so suddenly, it usually points to one of three things. 1. Content pacing. 2. Balance frustration. 3. Are players waiting for something better to come? And that something better could be Marathon, honestly. Bungie knows how to build long-term engagement loops. They understand seasonal retention. They understand PvP pressure systems. If Arc Raiders can't stabilize its player base before Marathon ramps up marketing, the extraction shooter audience could fragment fast. And here's the real danger. In live service game, perception becomes reality. If players start believing Arc Raiders is slipping, that narrative alone can accelerate the decline. So the real question isn't just about a 30% drop. It's this. Can Arc Raiders rebound before Marathon makes its move? Because the next few months could decide who actually owns the genre. All right, so I know it was kind of dramatic in the intro, but I want to say this point because I do still play Arc Raiders. There has been so much complaint about rats and just people begging for P versus E environments only, and they had the little thing where it encouraged you to, do arc damage and all that, but you still got P versus P elements even in that. And there's been a lot of complaints about that. And don't get me wrong, for every complaint, there's a fucking counter saying this is what the fuck an extraction shooter is. All right. Don't play the game if you don't want to deal with PvP. But honestly, I've seen a lot of comments too saying it's just the amount of P versus P issues and how it affects their enjoyment of the game is a lot. And a lot of people say once you max out like skill points and you got all the blueprints, there's really nothing else to do but to kill other players. Like there's nothing interesting to keep you engaged with just fighting the arc. You really only are left with fucking up other people's day in the game. And that's very unfortunate, but I have seen a lot of that comment in the Arc Raiders pages and groups and discourse that I follow. That is very much a real thing. And Marathon, don't get me wrong, I have no interest in Marathon as somebody that plays Arc Raiders. I already told my cousin, who was very surprised when I said that, I only have enough time for one live service game. I cannot add another one. Marathon could be the best thing smoking. I'm just not going to take that on, and I'm not going to pay $40 for another live service game, which it was already a miracle that I paid $40 for Arc Raiders. And the only reason why I did that is because we got so much feedback, how fun it was. And don't get me wrong, the game is very fun, but I can understand people who ain't got nothing left to do, and they already did the trials, and they've done the prestige mode, and it's just like, there's nothing to keep their interest. So I can understand the dip, 30%, but don't get me wrong, Arc Raiders player count has been very consistently high. Like we've documented well how much their player count has remained high, even in the wake of Battlefield 6, who had a very smoking good start and ended where they now are struggling to keep interest, even with new updates. So yeah, I get it. I kind of get it on both sides, but at the end of the day, this is an extraction shooter. And will Marathon improve on the elements that are frustrating players that play Arc Raiders right now? I don't know, because at the end of the day, it's still an extraction shooter, so they still gonna have share some type of similarities. But it's all about, can you build upon other people's failures? That's the name of the game in gaming industry in 2026. Building on other people's failures and giving the player something that interests them for a period of time. So, but I gotta be honest, live service games, they struggle keeping people interested for 12 months. I keep saying these in these ARC videos. My cousin kind of hit the nail on the head when we was discussing the success of ARC Raiders at its earlier stages. He was like, hey, let's see if this game is still going to be relevant in 12 months. That is a very hard task for live service games to do. And he was very, very right. And I'm not saying they can't rebound. They got some stuff in the pipeline. So this could be just a temporary thing. It was, Valentine's Day. I remember looking on somebody in the group. They was like, yeah, dumbass, we ain't gonna be playing because we got we got real shit to do, and wives and girlfriends who demand our time over the weekend. So, we'll see. But we'll see. You got anything to add on this Arc Raiders dip could this be a opportunity for Marathon?
My 2 cents on the matter. 30% is not a huge dip, but I have stated before, Arc Raiders has not a long road ahead of itself, but it needs to prove its longevity. My cousin is very heavily invested in this game. The 30% drop off, I'm not shocked. Live service online games like this, they roller coaster up and down, up and down. Their audience needs to be satiated. Content drops, engagement, constant something for them to do. And we talked about how they have a roadmap coming up, but Marathon is now ramping up to launch. You have some players who probably want to, see what the other cafeteria sandwich is doing, see what's going around. You know what it says? Because Bungie has what I think Embark, the Arc Raiders developer, they have something that they don't. They have name recognition. They have a history behind them, even though it's kind of a fucked up history now with Destiny. But they are the originator of Halo. They do make good first-person shooter games, and for those first-person shooter people, they just eat up anything with just hands and a gun in front of them. But
yeah.
As I said before, Arc Raiders, we'll see the success of it around the 1 year mark. A lot of these games don't intend to not last long. Arc Raiders has held on this long, even with the player base complaining about the PvE aspect thing. But 30% is not a bad drop. I am interested to see what do they do to keep the player base even when Marathon hits the market. But I don't believe they should have anything to worry about because their numbers are still good.
Yeah.
They're better than Concord numbers. They're better than that High Guard numbers. So clearly they're doing something that the people want and enjoy. But I would say the real testament of how they're doing, let's see how they handle the summer market with kids out of school and all that free time going
that's
on.
a good point.
Let's see how they handle that. That is a real, how do you sustain a player base that has nothing to do for majority of the day besides, hang out around the house. I don't think they do the Mountain Dew and Doritos anymore. That era is kind of bygone now. It's probably like Chipotle and green tea or whatever the case is. But we'll keep our eye on it. But I won't lie, I will try the beta of Marathon just to see and get a feel because I drank the Kool-Aid. I fell for the Destiny hype and everything. And I can say wholeheartedly, the people at Bungie, there we go. God, couldn't get their name out. People at Bungie, one thing they do know how to do, they do know how to make a shooter that feels tight and good in the hands. I already know what you're going to say, but Infamous, you don't like. Yes. Me and my cousin, we don't like first-person shooters. I think it's lazy development. I still have to see just how they how they try to handle it. A beta is free. And here at Are You Not Entertained, we are all about $3.99. But let's go ahead and see how it plays out, though.
Yeah. I do want to ask you one thing before we move on, because you even stated too that it's hard to keep people engaged for 12 months, and Battlefield, as we'll get in later, is struggling, and they just launched, I think, within 6 months. When we take into account how much these games cost, even for live service games, the continuation and the maintenance and the amount of things, the time span they need to drop, is it really realistic to try to make a live service game in 2026 and going forward? Because how much it takes to keep people engaged. Like, I just don't understand anybody in 2026 i.e. iGuard, why would you want to make a live service game? Because it's just so hard to keep people engaged for 12 months.
I can answer that. So their expectations, one, are realistic. I'm sorry, are unrealistic when they're making these games. This is not 2008. This isn't 2012. Time is a currency you cannot get back once you spend it. And it's no longer these teenagers that are sustaining these games like that. I mean, they are to an extent, but those are mainly the people playing the Fortnite, Minecraft, the free-to-play S games, and then spend money here, spend money there. When you make these games now, even though High Guard was a free to play game, it entered in such a saturated market that everyone has already invested their time into these games. That's why I always say you will never usurp the person that's put 4,000 hours into that, all those skins, and they said they're not leaving, even if another game has promise and looks good. There too much time has gone into it. As I was saying with the crowd that holds these games up, it's us. It's millennials. It's the people that's in their 30s to 40s that has the money to buy the game, 9 to 10, if not for themselves, for their kid who has the time to play it. One group of audience has the money to buy, another one has just the time to play it. And when you're looking at a 15-year-old who has nothing to do on a Wednesday or a Friday night but be in the house and, oh, I want to play this. And you took you 6 months to do a content drop and they run through it in a weekend and be like, all right, what else you got? You have to keep feeding that machine. You have to keep satiating them to keep coming back. And this is the problem that Destiny was running into when they did their content drops. What took you some months to develop and go through, player base ripped through it in a matter of days. It was like, all right, what else you got?
Get bored. Yeah.
And then now you get bored when there are so many other things on the market. You try to constantly keep feeding that beast. It won't happen. You end up either needing to fully dedicate yourself to it, or you have to figure out a different type of engagement model.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's just, I don't, people, like you said, get bored so quickly. The amount of content that they need at launch and then the continued content they need periodically, I don't know, like every month and a half to 2 months to 3 months. Like, it's very hard for a studio, which probably is not manned correctly, to keep up with that pace. And yeah, obviously, whoever worked on High Guard was very, very, very unrealistic in the amount of content needed at launch. And if live service game does not launch correctly, it's fucked. Even if it launched correctly, like Battlefield 6, it's no guarantee you're gonna maintain the numbers. But we'll definitely follow Arc Raiders and keep you updated. But let us know in the comments down below. Are you one of the people that are kind of tired of Arc Raiders? You've already burned through everything. You feel like there's nothing left to do but to PvP, and people are tired of getting PvP'd, and so they walking away. So let us know how you fall in that gauge of players, and if you're looking forward for Marathon to potentially give you something better and see if it's greener on the other side. Let us know in the comments down below.
Absolutely.
All right, so quickly, and I'm just going to run through this. Arc Raiders is officially dropping the next major update, Shrouded Skies, on February 24th, 2026, and this one feels important, especially after the 30% player drop. So what's actually coming? New Shrouded Sky conditions. Update introduce a darker version of the map with new environmental hazards, altered visibility conditions. That means more tension, more ambush potential, and potentially a completely different pacing for raids. If done right, this could freshen up the distraction loop instantly. New arc threat, a new arc enemy variant is being introduced, designed to shake up how players approach encounters. Listen, I already struggle with arc encounters. If this enemy hits hard and changes patterns, it could completely shift the meta. If it just damage spawns, players won't stick around, even with the new arc threat. New Raiders progression. There's also a new Raiders project system being added, likely tied to progression and long-term engagement. Keyword, long-term engagement. This is key because right now, retention in Arc Raiders is Arc Raiders' biggest challenge. If this progression system adds meaningful rewards and goals, it could stabilize the player base. Raider deck additions. New cards are being added to the Raider deck system, which affects build, strategy, team, and whatever. I really don't deal with the decks that much. This is where things could get interesting competitively and build more diversity and more replayability replayability, which is very much key. A lot of the stuff in this update is trying to maintain the player base, give them a reason to pick up the game and play. This is just not a cosmetic patch. Shrouded Sky feels like a test. Can Arc Raiders prove it has real content cadence? Because with Bungie's marathon on the horizon, like we've said, Arc Raiders doesn't just need content, it needs momentum. If Shrouded Sky lands strong, it could reverse the slipping narrative. And if it underdelivers, that 30% drop might turn into something bigger. So definitely let us know in the comments down below. Do you feel like Shrouded, goddamn, whatever this shit's called, is going to be enough to stabilize the player base and the player count? Like we said, the 30% drop is really not that big in the grand scheme of things, but you don't want to see it slipping while another extraction shooter is coming on the market within 2 weeks. The narrative is crazy, but who knows? Marathon could launch and be completely shit, and people be like, you know what? Arc Raiders is really a good game, and I don't know why I was bitching this entire time. That could really happen in real life. But we'll have to wait and see. Marathon service testing starts on the 23rd, 26th, something like that. It ends on March 2nd. The game launching on March 5th. So we'll have just to wait and see. But let us know in the comments below. What do you... All right. Helldivers 2 just hit a 2-year player. 2 years after the machinery oppression update. Let that sink in. This game was supposedly cooling off. People said the hype cycle was over, and now it just surged back to numbers we haven't seen in years. So what happened? Did Arrowhead finally crack the retention formula, or did this update remind everyone why Helldivers 2 was a phenomenon in the first place? Because this doesn't look like a small bounce. It looks like a comeback. All right, so let's break down why this matters. The update didn't just add content, it added urgency, new threats, new objective, more chaos. Helldivers 2 thrives when it feels unpredictable, and this update leaned to that identity hard. But here's the bigger picture. In live service games, most titles fade after 1 year, like we've stated many of times on this channel. Helldivers 2 just proved it can reignite momentum 2 years later. That changes how we look at longevity. It also sends a message to every other live service shooter trying to hold attention. You don't just need content, you need events that feel meaningful. Now, the real question is this a temporary spike, or is Helldivers 2 entering its second prime? Because if these numbers hold, Arrowhead didn't just drop an update, they reset the narrative. Now, coming off the heels of our Arc Raiders topic, yes, we're talking about another live service game. And once again, that question that I asked my cousin in the Arc Raiders topic is, does live service make sense because it just takes so much content to keep people engaged? Now listen, I will say Helldivers 2, they have a pretty good like drop cycle or cadence or whatever you like. When me and my cousin play with our friend, and I think it had been like a good year since we played, the amount of content that was released after we stopped playing was so large. I felt so overwhelmed with all the fucking like the different packages and stuff, and I'm like, Jesus, like I need to start playing this game because I'm so behind. There was new like monsters and people, it was monsters going up the ground. I didn't know what the fuck was happening. Like those let's plays are documented on our channel if you want to go watch them, but we was very much like a fish out of water. Like it felt like I had never played the game, and I think that's very interesting in Helldivers because it's such a funny live service shooter, yet we did spend some time away, and when we played it, it felt like a whole new experience. Even with this update, I mean, I'm sure me and my cousin will try to find time to play it and see, and even though we don't like playing the machines because, I don't know, the one time we went to play the machines, we just got our ass handed to us, and I was just like, why is it just felt very unbalanced from killing bugs to killing machines, but maybe we didn't have the right weapons or whatever. Anyway, Helldivers peaking 2 years later after launch is very much a testament because they could have went Destiny. They could have released Helldivers 3 and made you buy a whole nother one, but no, they stayed and maintained the game and really stayed with a cadence of content drop. So Helldivers is once again a outliner. Not every live service game can come back and peak 2 years later after launch. This is very much like a lightning in a bottle. Live service games struggle after 12 months. Helldivers is really doing something abnormal with peaking 2 years later with this new update. But what do you think? Because I know we played this recently with our friend Cream Cream. And did you feel the same way? Did you feel like it was a whole new experience when we played this last time after so much time away from the game?
Yeah, I have felt that from our nice little sabbatical that we had. They had added a lot more content to the game. I think it's every month on a Thursday. I don't know how the pattern is. They drop a new war bond that gives you more, cosmetics, weapons, and whatnot to add to. But the way Arrowhead is going about it, I don't want to say it's unique. At least it is to
Mhm.
me. I don't know if any other live service esque done what they do. The way they're going about it to me is why they're succeeding. They're more focused on the player versus the environment rather than PvP, which a lot of people enjoy that more. There's no story. There's more lore than a story. They don't need to revolve content around that. The general idea is, hey, you're part of this military, super Earth, go in
Mhm.
and fight this faction that
Democracy.
excuse me, democracy, liberty, and how they go about it is just it works. Yes, it's not free to play. You have to pay to play the game, and it is online and etc. But even for the war bonds, if you play the game,
Oh,
you
yeah, yeah.
earn
Currency.
in-game currency to buy the war bond. So it doesn't you don't feel nickel and dime. And even the superstore they revitalized, it's certain pieces from the war bonds you can buy a la carte where you don't have to buy the whole thing if you don't want to. It's giving more player agency, more player freedom. And when they do these quote unquote big updates with the cyber stand now, before that it was the Illuminate, before that Malevolent Creek, they really make it a community effort where when you will log in, you're like, yo, it's 400,000 people in this sector on this planet. Yeah, let's go in and get in on that, make a difference. It is more community driven and
Yeah.
the other live service game. And like I said, you don't feel so nickel and dime. Your
Mhm.
buddy can have two war bonds and whatever gun and cosmetic you have, where you just have the one. Hey, if that's how you choose and want to play, you're not feeling left out. You're doing quote unquote your part your way.
Yeah.
And thought about this from our last topic. Another thing that makes these live service games falter is they'll start strong and end. You have to have some type of compelling end game to keep people
Oh,
around
yeah, yeah, yeah.
once they've had their first bite. Helldivers is like, well, the beginning is the end because the fight never ends. Hey, you killed 200,000 bugs this week. Hey, we have two more other fronts for you to go to do whatever. There's mechs to unlock, more weapons, upgrades. There's something for you to do to make your experience more entertaining. And these other live service games, they're just not seeing that. They just feel like, oh, we just made the game and just had them something to play. It needs to be something meaningful. It has to be some type of end goal you're working toward. Even when we play, you know my layout. I need my big gun, my miniature Gundam, and I'm just here to spread democracy. So I'm not surprised at this new update, and I'm looking forward to it because I don't know about you. I saw that tank they were advertising, and
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I'll fight the robots. You give me a tank. I take the gun done. I'm like, yo, I'm there. You're doing good. And I like to see them continue to make good on it. I mean, they're well past the 1 year mark, so clearly they know what they're doing.
It's just crazy. 2 year player count peak is just very unheard of with these live service games. Well, shout out to the makers of Helldivers 2 and what they're doing because they're obviously, like my cousin said, doing something right. But let us know what you think. Are you playing Helldivers 2? Has this update made you come back to the game? And if you haven't played Helldivers 2, does this update intrigue you to play the game? I'll be very much interested in your feedback in the comments down below. All right, Pokemon Day 2026 rumors are exploding right now, and I mean exploding. We're hearing talks of Fire Red and Leaf Green returning, which my cousin, before we start recording, said that Nintendo has already confirmed. Gen 10 whispers, Switch 2 tie-ins, even remake speculation. This isn't one rumor, this is a flood. And when Pokemon rumors start stacking like this right before Pokemon Day, that usually means something big is coming. So the real question is, are we about to witness one of the biggest Pokemon days ever? Or is this hype train about to derail? So let's slow this down and look at the pattern. Pokemon Day has become Nintendo's pressure moment. It's not just a celebration anymore, it's expectation season. Right now, the rumor list includes classic remakes, possible Gen 10 hints, Switch 2 upgrade speculation, and anniversary tie-ins. Now, here's the thing. Some of this makes sense. Nintendo needs momentum for this next hardware cycle, and Pokemon is the ultimate system seller. So we've also seen this before. Rumor season builds expectations so high that anything short of mind-blowing feels disappointing. So here's the real debate. Are these leaks pointing to a historic Pokemon Day, or are fans setting themselves up again? Because even half of this list is real, Pokemon Day 2026 could reshape the entire next year of Nintendo. And if it's not, the backlash is going to be loud. All right, so from the Gen 10 rumors, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green ports, here is every Pokemon game that is reportedly set to be shown off at the Pokemon 30th Anniversary Presents. All rumored Pokemon games include Pokemon Gen 10, Pokemon Wind and Wave, rumor. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. This was supposedly confirmed before we start recording this episode. Pokemon Black and White Switch 2 exclusives, rumored. Pokemon XD Glaze of Darkness Switch 2 exclusive only, also rumored. Pokemon Champions is expected. Pokemon Gold is expected. Pokemon Unite is expected. Pokemon TCG Pocket expected. I don't even know what that is. And Pokemon Sleep expected. To be clear, no Pokemon leak is ever 100% confirmed until Game Freak themselves announce it. So of course, we should always take any rumor with a grain of salt. However, there are a few major leaks going into the Pokemon Day 2026 event that are pretty solid based on the sources behind them. I asked Infamous, what do you think about all these quote-unquote leaks games for Pokemon Day 2026 from Nintendo? Do you expect most of these to be accurate and true, or you think this is just a lot of expectations that's going to set fans up to disappointed?
I think it's a lot of expectation. It's gonna have people disappointed.
Damn!
Nintendo ain't moving like how Nintendo used to be. They don't care. They're gonna give you crumbs and expect you to make a meal out of it.
Oh shit. I did not
I'm gonna start
know you
off
was
with
gonna go that way.
I'm gonna start off with this. I'm gonna give a full disclaimer.
Mhm.
I am part of the problem. I know I talk mad mountain shit on Nintendo, and they deserve it, as all these corporations.
Yeah, I'm the queen of talking shit.
But
Nintendo.
hey, I will tell you this. I am a Pokemon fan. I am a Gen 1er, as they claim it.
Yes.
So I am looking forward to this. I am excited for the Fire Red Leaf Green. But I'm gonna say this real quick. I got that disclaimer out the way. But that Gen 10 name sound dumb as fuck.
Pokemon Wind and Wave.
You can't tell me they ran out of colors. You just can't tell me that.
Oh God, not ran out of colors. Stop it.
That's one. The Pokemon Black White thing. All right, so here's the dilemma that Nintendo has put themselves in. They really want the Switch 2s to run off the shelves and keep the momentum going that they supposedly, air quotes, they're going to need to put a premium focus on Switch 2 hardware. But here's the but. Pokemon sales. Even when the game is shitty, Pokemon sales.
Yeah.
You put any Pokemon game out and it ain't on the 154 plus million original Switch owners and it's just for the Switch 2, that's going to be a problem. People in droves will feel some type of way. As we're recording, the Leaf Green and Fire Red is for Switch 1 and Switch 2. They're not stupid. They could have did it for Switch 2 to drive the sales, but they knew damn well it would not push Switch 1 owners to Switch 2, just as Sony is struggling to get PS4 users to PS5. That black and white thing, hey, I would love to see that. I think that's the one generation I did not play, if I remember correctly. But if they were going to do it, Nintendo needs to put a little bit more effort to these Pokemon games. The Brilliant Diamond and Shiny Pearl remaster, remake, whatever the hell you want to call it. I haven't played it, even though I do own it. But I've heard many people saying how lackluster it was, how it was just a lazy port. They based it off the regular games instead of the third version, which is the more definitive edition. If they choose to really go down this route, they really need to get their head out of their asses and go big. Because Pokemon, it generates money. It is the world's #1 IP. It outdoes Star Wars. It outdoes Marvel combined.
Even with merch sales too, like
Even
this,
with merch sales, you
yeah,
have people that buy plushies of Pokemon that may not even be a popular Pokemon, but
the
just
trading
because they
cards.
like the training cards, all of that. Now that was a long list of stuff you had. Hey, and I would probably say maybe half of it is possibly true. One thing I didn't hear about the new or rumored, because that's what it is, rumored Pokemon Legends as they did with Arceus. People are speculating and wondering where that is because even though it was a one-off spin-off, it was highly successful. People did enjoy it. I know I enjoyed it. I put over 100 hours into that. It introduced a different way on how to engage and play the game, excuse me. And it also was a stopgap between the generations. When Arceus came out, it came out at the beginning of the year. It kept people busy all the way towards the end of the year when Scarlet and Violet came out. And I thought that was a very brilliant, smart move. You put out 2 games in 1 year, and then each one sold millions. So now we have a repeat of that this year. You got the Fire Red, Leaf Green coming at the beginning of the year. They play their cards right. They could do the Arceus or whatever thing in the middle of the year, keeping people satiated with their Pokemon need. And then towards the holiday season, they have their heavy hitter. Generation 10 starts. Now, I will give them credit. Normally, Pokemon games are 3 years. They have been doing that for almost 3 decades now.
Yeah,
But
I
it's been
say
4
dawn of
years.
time.
Yeah, but now it's been 4 years since Scarlet and Violet. So people are assuming, and I'm going to use that word very strategically, assuming that they are getting their shit together to put that little bit more effort into these games because we all know Game Freak can do it. Look at Beast Reincarnation. You've been sitting on that talent for 30 years, but you making these cookie cutter clay dough fucking Pokemon games? Come on now. Do better. Do better, Nintendo. It's all up in the air. It's all conjecture. Pokemon Day can come and they can just be like, hey, we announced a new set for the TCG Fire Red Leaf thing that I was confirming. And they were like, all right, we'll see you later. Have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, yeah.
And people will eat it up and be like, oh, they'll have some at the beginning of the year. It's like, bro, they had something right now. They didn't do it. Why are you making excuses for them? But I would like to see that black and white thing. If they choose to redo that, it would save me a lot of money because old Pokemon games, they cost money. The DS
Yeah.
games, they are hundreds of dollars to
Mhm.
get that right now. They are super high in prices, just as the 3DS itself or the DS. So that is true. That will drive the price down and make it I'm sorry, I was about to say affordable. I'm lying.
Psych.
I'm lying because it won't be affordable. It'll probably be $80 for God's sake. The double pack will be $200. And they'll be like, well, you're gonna buy it, so why are you complaining?
Look,
And
they gonna
people
slap
will buy
that
it.
Nintendo guaranteed quality.
That Nintendo seal of quality, which don't mean shit anymore. But
Mm-mm.
a piece of me does say people do have a little bit of too high expectations. Before I end this, I'll say it's given why they have that because it is a big anniversary year. It's a 3-0
Yeah.
anniversary. It's 30 years. I'm going to remind people of this. The Japanese are different. They see the 5 years anniversary bigger than the 10-year marks. So when it was 25, yes, I learned that, I think, from the 25-year anniversary with Pokemon, and I think another one with the Legend of Zelda. But it's the 5-year ones, they take those more into account than the 10 marks. So
Interesting.
keep that in mind, people. Japanese are different, especially Nintendo. But how it goes, but as I said before, I'm hyped for the Fire Red Leaf Green.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
they can only go up from there.
Before we even started recording, my cousin was like, "Oh yeah, it was confirmed and blah blah blah. I need to make a Twitter post." I said, yeah, "I'm blowing the dust off my Switch One." I was like, "It's over." Like, I listen. If anything is gonna make me turn on my Switch, it's definitely gonna be Fire Red and Leaf Green, and it's a wrap. But definitely let us know in the comments below. What do you think? What is your expectations of Pokemon Day that's coming up very very, very shortly. And what are you looking forward to? Maybe you're not a Gen 1 or don't really care for Fire Red and Leaf Green. What do you think about the other things that is rumored or expected to be announced at this Pokemon Day? And do you believe Pokemon Day kind of rumors are really get out of hand because the expectation is way too high? Nintendo never is going to meet that expectations. Let us know in the comments down below.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got one more. I got one
Okay.
more. I forgot about it. I gotta let you know too. That Fire Red and Leaf Green, they are
Mhm.
$20 a piece. Whatever, yes, whatever is announced. Whatever is announced at Pokemon Day, I'm telling you now, it is going to cost you. Okay, you heard it from Infamous.
Oh
Whatever they bring back,
shit.
whatever they choose to really get your nostalgia flippers going, it is going to run you some money. That was something I did see on Twitter that people were upset that they were charging $20. So if you want to do both, as some people do, it's
Yeah.
$40. But I
Oof.
also, like I said, want to remind you, if you were to go out, I'm not trying to defend Nintendo, they are still shitty. If you were to go on eBay right now and try to find you a real, authentic, legit, non-repro Fire Red Leaf Green cartridge, that's a cart note.
Yo, and I want to also say I thought the price would have been higher because of how shitty Nintendo is. So I'm a little shocked that it's only $20. Honestly, because I thought it was gonna be 30, 40, honestly. Because I just don't have faith in Nintendo ever being consumer first. But yeah, even at $20, I can understand why some people are like, "The fuck," because they're gonna want to buy both. I can honestly see people buying both Fire Red and Leaf Green. But like I
Oh
said, let us
yeah.
know let us know what you think about the price and just Fire Red and Leaf Green being confirmed. Are you a Gen 1er and you gonna buy anything that comes out as Gen 1ers or what? Let us know in the comments down below too, because I've said I'm in a quiet protest of Nintendo. I don't give Nintendo no money. I will make an exception for this Fire Red and Leaf Green. I'm sorry, not sorry.
That's right. Be part of the
Yeah,
problem.
listen, when it comes to good Pokemon, not all this latest shit and all these recent Pokemon, nah, you can miss me with that. That last Pokemon game that was like $150 with all the shit, nah, you not gonna get no money out of me for that. But Gen 1 shit, yeah, okay. Listen, I still buy Pokemon cards every now and then. So listen, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite and come on this platform and lie to you. Pokemon, this Leaf Green, this Fire Red is definitely gonna make me give Nintendo some money. Let's move on to another Nintendo topic. Rumor leaks reveal a new 3D Mario game is coming. A new Nintendo Switch 2 rumor has potentially leaked the reveal of a new 3D Mario game. It has been almost a decade since the release of the last proper 3D Mario game. This game is obviously Super Mario Odyssey. Suffice to say, it's been a long wait for Nintendo fans for a follow-up. Wait for the reveal may be coming to an end soon though. The new rumors come from Nash Whittle, a fairly reliable source when it comes to Nintendo rumors and leaks. According to Nash, the new Nintendo Direct could happen, and at this Direct, a new 3D Mario game will be revealed. As you may remember, the turnaround between reveal and release for Super Mario Odyssey was pretty quick. It was revealed on October 20th, 2016, and then released on October 27th, 2020. So it's reasonable to think that if a new 3D Mario game is revealed for Switch 2, it could release for the consoles this holiday season, realistically. After all, a new 3D Mario game doesn't need much marketing. Actually, no first-party Nintendo games really need marketing. As long as it's as good as its previous games, which almost certainly will be, it will sell like hotcakes and sell units of the consoles as well. So quickly, what do you think about this rumor for a new 3D Mario game? Do you think it's real?
In my opinion, no.
Oh, like, you really are surprising me on this pod today.
Well, the only reason I say that is because Super Mario Odyssey, real hardcore fanatic Nintendo fans say that Super Mario Odyssey is like the greatest 3D platformer ever.
Oh wow.
And a lot of people would say that Super Mario 64 was the real
Yeah.
numero uno. The team that made Super Mario Odyssey, they made the Donkey Kong game. A lot of people did like and enjoy that. it didn't have the same reception as Super Mario Odyssey. And a lot of people were, you had some people enjoyed it. You had some people were like, where's Mario at? We didn't ask for this. Donkey Kong is 2D. We wanted this. If another Mario was being made, who's making it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why split them up? Now, I could be wrong. Nintendo could have had the team split up, doing etc. Because the true testament of the success of a Nintendo console is their 3D Marios and the Zelda game. We have yet to get either one of those for the Switch 2. Now, before you fans come at me in the comments, there was a Switch 2 version of Breath of the Wild. That is just a small upgrade from the original Switch games. We have not had a brand new, from the ground up Switch 2 3D Mario.
Yeah.
Those are Nintendo's bread and butter. Now, the reason I also say why that's also ain't coming is because you have the Super Mario Galaxy bundle, which can feed into that crowd to give them that. You have Nintendo taking every Switch, porting it to the 2 and increasing the price, and people are buying them. Then not only that, they have their Mario fix for people, and it's the Mario movie coming up. That made the first one made over $1 billion. And I'm pretty sure just as they didn't put so much money into their games, but yes, they are such high quality fans, I'm pretty sure the budget on that movie is just the same thing. Nice, low, safe. Turn over $1 billion profit. They're like, yo, we got us a whole new avenue to satiate these people while we get everything else together. I don't know where these rumors are coming from. It's probably people just being hopeful, because even though this was years ago when the Switch 1 came out and that Mario and Zelda came out in 2017, I was like, the Switch, Nintendo just blew their load at the beginning of the generation with a Mario and a Zelda back to back like that. But it paved the way for the success of that system. There are reports that there are more Breath of the Wild copies being sold than Switches out on the market. So, I mean, people were buying the game and didn't have the system. They were just waiting to get it. Well, now Nintendo's like, hey, we make sure, the system is out there for you all. Now we just need to get the games into you. But the market and the dynamics of the market has changed. Nintendo no longer just needs to fill you all with phrasing. It's just the games. They have now the movies, and on top of that, they do have some of their little side projects like the Pokemon Pocopia, something like that. A more Animal Crossing-esque game to fill the gap in between part of their mainline things. They're no longer moving like old Nintendo. They have their little niches and ways to nickel and dime you, especially quote unquote variable pricing. So I don't see a new Mario coming up right now. Like, where's this coming from? Where's the proof? Where's the leak? Where's the hint at? I just believe that's what people expect from Nintendo, because that's normally what they do. A new system comes out, there is a Mario game along with it. Right. But I just don't see that. Nintendo is finding success and doing things differently in their own way. I mean, this is their second console that they have released outside of a holiday market. The Switch 1 was in March. This Switch 2, I think it was June. So they're clearly saying like, hey, we can do this our own way and still make money. So I don't see it. But I asked this question to you. Are you a Mario fan? Like, do you play any of these or have ever played fucking Mario games?
I have trauma from the Mario game from, what was that, GameCube? And you had the little sprayer, you was cleaning up, and God, what was the name of that
You're talking about
Mario
Mario
game?
Sunshine.
Oh God, that Mario game gave me such trauma. Oh my God. The amount of time that I had to invest in beating that fucking game was traumatic. And I haven't played a Mario game since. I'm just gonna be honest. And if you love that Mario game, kudos to you, baby. Kind of like the Wind Waker Zelda from that. It was just so overly difficult for the age I was at, and I just that kind of set me up for failure. I haven't played a Mario game since, honestly. Have you?
So I have never understood the fascination of the Mario games and everything. When people were playing these on the NES or the Super Nintendo, I miss those. And I used to be like, why do you guys love this so much? It's a
I
little
mean,
plumber
he's
dude
yeah, I'm about to say
just
he's a
jumping on shit.
plumber. What do we? Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a little plumber just jumping on shit. You're
and
like,
then his
why is
brother
this so fun?
Luigi.
Yeah, and these kind of almost ratio stereotypic voices. Hey, I'm like, yo, how y'all think Italian say?
Oh God.
But I will say this on my 3DS, especially while waiting for my wife to. I played Mario 3D World. I was like, oh my god, this is actually fun. I guess it took me to get older to care. I did buy the Mario All Star Collection that came with that Mario Sunshine and the other fucking games. I have bought the Bowser's Fury and whatnot. They are entertaining. They're entertaining. I give them that. And then the last one I played was Super Mario Wonders. I give Nintendo this, and you all can write this down because it ain't gonna happen a lot. They do put their money where their mouth is for this fucking mascot of theirs. Them games are highly polished, very nice, but I just don't understand people's appeal. I'm not hyped for them, but it's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Like where Pokemon can make me blow the dust off my Switch one, Mario cannot. I'm just gonna
No, no,
and
and
mm, mm, mm.
And then I'm not gonna lie, the only reason I bought that 3D All Star Collection thing was because of FOMO. When Nintendo announced, like, yo, not only is it gonna be a limited run of the physical cartridge, we're also gonna pull the digital thing away. I was like, what the fuck? Who are you?
What?
Who? Yeah.
They
I
wild.
think the game was only like available to buy for like 6 or 9 months, and then they pulled the plug on it. If you were to like to go out now and try to find one in the wild, you got some places that may be reasonable, but of course, Scalpers Online, seal Super Mario 3D All Star thing is probably like over $100 now, just because you can't get it in the stores or definitely online. But I do feel for you. That Mario Sunshine is hard as hell, and yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's probably what made me not like the fucking dude in the first one because I was like, yo, why are you so
Yeah,
hard? Is this
I
how
tell
all your games are?
listen, I told you that shit gave me fucking trauma. Even Pokemon can still make me spend some money with Nintendo Gen 1 type shit. Even Zelda Wind Waker gave me trauma. Like that shit was just too intense for the age group it was targeting. Yeah, those fucking two, and that's probably why I have such disdain for Zelda. And I didn't even what was that? The Breath of the Wild? Hey, that shit no time of day,
Mm-hmm.
baby. No, no, no. And even the Zelda that came after that gave it no time of day. But Pokemon, that's where you can get me to spend some money. Gen 1 type shit, the originals. But Mario, Zelda, nah, dog. I'm cool. But I want to ask you one quick thing before we transition. We have reported, and it is widely known that Nintendo is very much okay with sitting on products for a year plus. Could they be sitting on a
Absolutely.
Mario game that's been done for a year or a year plus?
Oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, that's a good question. You know what? I can believe it.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I'm even gonna say this. Them Pokemon games could have been done long time ago. And
Yeah.
we've reported that the Switch 2 sales are stalling. They're starting to slow down and they're not really keeping the momentum as it was to first get out the gate. Someone in Nintendo could have been like, hey, now's the time. Release that. We're gonna hit
Mm.
them with a Mario and a nostalgic Pokemon.
Smart business move. I ain't
And
gonna lie.
I can believe that. That Mario game could have been done way ahead of time. And it was like, no, 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 no. We don't need that right now. Put up
Now's
that
not the
Donkey Kong.
time. Yeah,
Put Donkey.
yeah.
They're not expecting that. A 3D Donkey Kong. They'll never expect that. They'll catch their asses off guard. Put that out first, and then they sat and wait. They see how the market is. I'm like, we need a heavy hitter, sir. Okay, okay, calm down, Phil. Calm down. I got you. Release Mario.
Really,
Everyone,
yeah.
and I do mean everyone, shows up for Mario. I think on Mario Day, I think it's what is that? I think it's March 10th, if I remember correctly. On one of the years for the original Switch, I believe the Switch OLED. All it was just all red because of Mario. That's all it was. It was just all red. The Joy Cons and the system. Do you know it sold the fuck out?
I'm not surprised.
You throwing that question, I don't put it past them. This
Mhm.
could have been done 1, 2 years ago, and they was like, put it at the right time when people are hungry for something new. Because the truth of the matter is, and I don't care what anyone says, even though the Wii U failed due to lack of third party and how they market it, people buy Nintendo consoles for Nintendo games. It is first party the consumers want. The third party is just a bonus. That's all it is. It is a bonus. You give them a reason not to have to buy the other competitor's console because that's not what they want. They want the Nintendo good. So to get a Mario and then oh man, Fallout's coming on a Nintendo Switch. I never played that. Oh well,
Oblivion remaster, yeah, all that.
yeah. Not they got it
Resident
all in house.
Evil,
And
yeah.
now Nintendo has changed the game. We're getting off topic, so I'm gonna wrap this up. But now Nintendo has changed the game to where they don't have to wait for the game to come out and then a port comes. Some of these fucking heavy hitters are coming day and date.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that Resident Evil comes out on Nintendo Switch too, as it comes out everywhere else.
A very
So
big deal.
Nintendo fans, as much as we make fun of you all and shit on this company that you all love, y'all eating good this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
be happy.
Like I said,
But
the
y'all gonna pay for it.
Nintendo showcase, they came out so weekend. I haven't seen such a strong Nintendo showcase like that. I don't think ever, honestly. I'm just gonna keep it real. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you think. If you think this Mario rumor is to be true, or you think it's a little fantasy. Like Nintendo, we are reported that they don't really invest a lot in their games. So I think that is another reason why they can sit on product for so long. I really do think Nintendo in 2026 is very much doing the Birdman hand rub. Winter is coming, like they say in Game of Thrones, because I think Nintendo is coming to self-correct in 2026. Hey, these systems, we need stuff to sell these consoles. We're not playing around. We're not fucking around these third-party supports. Listen, we giving everybody a reason to buy instead of reasons to not buy. I think that is the messaging in 2026 for Nintendo in the company. But let me know what you think about this rumor and how you feel about everything we discussed, and we'll see you in the comments. All right, people. God of War, Sons of Sparta is already controversial, people, and the game isn't even fully out yet. The creator isn't happy. Fans feel misled, and the internet is splitting into camps. How do you have one of the biggest franchise in gaming and still manage to spark this level of backlash? But right now, this doesn't feel like normal debate. This feels like something deeper. But what exactly went wrong? And is this controversy overblown? Or is Sony walking into a problem they didn't expect? All right, let's break this down. When a franchise like God of War moves into a new direction, tension is inevitable. But this situation feels different. You've got the original creative voice reportedly distancing themselves. You've got fans saying expectations were set one way and the delivery went in a totally different direction. So the expectation and reality don't match. That's when words like "poop" start getting thrown around. Now, here's the bigger issue. God of War isn't just another game. It's one of Sony's pillars. So if trust even slightly cracks here, the ripple effect is bigger than one title. The real question isn't just whether Sons of Sparta is good, it's whether the franchise identity is shifting in a way fans didn't ask for. And once that debate starts, it doesn't die quietly. All right, so let me just say real fast. We did a breakdown. We did a video announcing every game that was announced at the state of play for PlayStation. And I gotta be honest, I was so overwhelmed with the announcement of God of War Trilogy. I really didn't give this God of War 2D Son of Sparta any thought or any. I really didn't even acknowledge it, honestly. It wasn't even on my highlighted games that I talked about. So this was really, and I know technically this was the closer, but let's be honest, the trilogy remake announcement was the real closer. This was just some, oh yeah, by the way, type of shit. So I really wasn't even, this shit was not on my radar. And when I saw the amount of backlash that was going on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube about this game, I was just like, well, what's wrong with it? I'm like, how can you even fuck up a 2D? And I started seeing all the backlash and all the stuff. I was like, well, damn, what the fuck is going on? And then the original creators started voicing, they was like, nah, this is not real God of War. Don't associate this. And I think they're really trying to distance themselves with anything that can tarnish the reputation of the God of War trilogy. Cause listen, that was the haymaker. That was the closer. So putting this behind that and kind of like tagging these together. No. The original creator and the people working on the trilogy do not want want to associate themselves anything that is not pristine or prestige from fans. So I can definitely understand why the creators, the original people are like, nah, fuck that. We don't know nothing about this. We don't condone this. This is not representation of what we envision God of War to be. And we set the reputation at a very, very high level. So I can get all that. Let me ask you, Infamous, what did you think about when you first, because we reported on this as a rumor a long time ago, but when this was confirmed, did you really hold this game in high regard, or did you feel like I feel this was like a throwaway shit that they added onto the trilogy announcement?
I'm gonna break it down. I ain't get two fucks about this.
I'm so
But
sorry for the people that did.
I'll say this. I understand why it's made. I get it. I don't give a fuck about it, but I get it. So I'm gonna lay it all out. First of all, the original creator, sit the fuck down and calm your ass down. Because you come off like a bitter ex-wife wanting extra alimony payment, and it's like, yo, this ain't got shit to do with you.
Yo,
Yeah,
calm
shit to
down,
do with you.
buddy.
Calm down. Like you ain't been part of the series in so long, and now you choose to, oh, how dare you? Yo, chill out, chill out. But let me break it down. In our current economy, in our current landscape of games and development, they are taking, at least what we're being told, so long to make and so much money. It took over a little 10 years for the 2018 and the Ragnarok story to be done, which is why they did 2 games instead of 3. Because he was like, he didn't want to take so long, 15 years making these games. So somewhere someone has decided, hey, we can tell intricate in between stories in between the bigger game. Oh, okay. And they somehow chose to go about it with a Metroidvania, which everyone they damn mama loves. And I was like, we're gonna tell the story from before he fucked up and murdered his family and became, the rage baiting killing machine. So like I said, I didn't give a fuck about the game, but I understood it because what was Ragnarok? That's coming up almost 3 years old now. So somewhere between the next couple of years, we should also see or hear more of the rumored other God of War game that's being worked on. While they're also, and then when that launches, that'll be the stopgap to the trilogy remake. So I get what they're doing. They're piecemealing it to keep you going while they keep the other projects. This was probably a faster turnaround rate than them to try to do another Ragnarok or the 2018 one, which would cost hundreds of millions in 5 or 6, 7 years, when this was probably done in maybe 1 or 2 years. Hell, this probably got started on when Ragnarok came out, a quicker turnover. So, like I said, I get it, but I just don't give a fuck. I am happy that they were consistent. There's a lot of people who probably don't know, if you didn't play the side games, Kratos did have a brother. So I was happy that they added that in, because I'm like, yo, that's true. That is part of the lore if you didn't play the other games. To the bigger piece, why people are upset. Fans aren't necessarily upset because of the way the game is made. A lot of fans, from the reports I read in the discourse, is on the PlayStation Store, it's listed that the game is 1 to 2 players. So you would automatically think, oh, there's co-op to it. But then people bought the game and it's like, hey, there's no fucking co-op. What's happening? So people was trying to get a refund, and I don't know if you know, but Sony is notorious with telling people no.
Yeah, fuck you.
If it ain't required by state law in that state, I did my due diligence and I did digging. There is co-op in the game. They just did the dumbest fucking thing I have ever seen in how you go about unlocking. You have to beat the game to unlock the fucking co-op. I don't know who in the Sam hell thought that was a good idea, and like, yeah, they'll totally love it. Yeah, why wouldn't you want to replay it with your buddy? Why wouldn't you want to just play it the first time with your buddy? Like, that makes no sense. So I get why people are upset, because a lot of people was about to start class action lawsuits saying like, yo, that's false advertising. Like, what's going on? Me personally, I don't have a problem with its art style, but the 2D Metroidvania thing, to me, that just sounds like an expensive platform game. And I'm not huge. I'll try it out. What's the magic word? Sale. Oh, we're Infamous. It's just $30, man. I don't give a fuck if it's $5. Sale. Okay. My cousin
Oh
has told
god.
you. I see that 4-letter word. Ooh, okay. Want that card.
And I've told him just because it's on sale doesn't mean you have to buy it. I'm just
And that's true. I am doing better. I am doing better. I ain't bought nothing from the PlayStation sale, but I have done better. But
Lord.
I like I said, I understand both sides of the argument. Now, like I said, the original creator, oh, you need to chill the fuck out. Because his whole hoorah, hoop line just sounds like you want some attention. You ain't had shit to do with this game in so long. Hell, since probably the original trilogy. You want to get technical. Or whichever ones, because I know he went around for all of them. Chill out, bro. Okay, you don't like the game? Cool. But let's not make it seem like you have just been an intricate part of these. Yes, you are the creator. I appreciate your contribution to human society. But otherwise, this ain't about you. This ain't about
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And I say that as we have a culture going on right now. I'm not getting on the soapbox. I'm just going to give my 2 cents and kick it back to my cousin. We have a culture right now to shit on games and the griff and the negativity and etc. And I feel like that's really what he was coming out, just riding that gravy train. You can go listen to his argument. He said he played the game for 30 minutes. I don't know
Oh Lord.
anybody of any game that you play for 30 fucking minutes and can make a definitive choice on like, hey, what bang, hey, yeah. You could give an impression, but nowhere near does the game fully open up and show you its full details in 30 minutes. You just
Mhm.
played it enough to say, oh yeah, I tried it. Because of
Yeah, that's
everyone who I know who has bought it and liked it, a lot of people, I'm not gonna say that. Some people do enjoy it. It's something different. Each iteration they do, and I said this when we were talking about this, on why it would be a 2D or 2.5D Metroidvania. We were talking about the rumors. Each iteration, they change the perspective of how you play the game.
oh,
The
that's
original
true.
trilogy was isometric. The Norse mythology was over the shoulder. And now this one, prequel, if they kept it the same, you would just complain. Damn, that rhymed. I didn't even try to do that. But anywho, it's just more God of War. This is like, as my cousin said, this is one of Sony's key pillars of their franchise. You say PlayStation, I'm pretty sure maybe 3 games come to mind, and God of War is one of them.
Yeah, it has to
Yeah,
be. Well, like I said, I really didn't give this game too much thought, maybe because I was just overstimulated by the trilogy remake announcement. I didn't even really give this the time of day and the attention probably that it should have gotten, maybe. But let us know in the comments down below, what do you think about the creators foolishness going back and forth, and everybody's complaining about the visuals. I kept seeing that they was comparing it to like Game Boy, like The Lion King in old school, like what was that, a Latin game? I was like, all right,
that's
now
petty.
what
That's
are we
petty.
doing?
That's
Yeah.
petty. Chill
What
out
are we
now.
doing?
Tell me, tell me you feel hurt without telling me you're hurt.
I was like, and I saw the side by side. I said, "All right, now, all right, now, can we not? Can we not?" But let us know in the comments below what you think, how you felt, if you bought this game and enjoyed it, or if you bought this game and didn't enjoy it. I guess maybe there's no middle ground because, like my cousin said, this is a very, very different perspective. So maybe this really caught a lot of people off guard, and maybe the advertisement kind of sets you up the wrong expectations to have for this game. So let us know in the comments down below. All right. Ubisoft, baby. Listen, if I can say one thing, this channel probably makes its living off Ubisoft topics, Nintendo topics, and whatever else bullshit that I shit on. But Ubisoft, and there's the topic. Ubisoft just canceled these games, and the leak is brutal. We're not talking about small side projects. We're talking about major titles, big IPs, game fans were waiting on, supposedly. I don't think so. And now gone, scrap. This massive leak just exposed what Ubisoft killed during their restructuring. Even half of it's true. This changes how we look at the company right now, which I don't know why you even looking at this company. So what did Ubisoft cancel, and what does this say about where they're heading? Because this doesn't feel like trimming fat. It feels bigger than that. All right. let's zoom out. When publisher cancels one game, happens. That's normal, And when multiple high-profile projects get cut at once, that signals internal pressure, restructuring, financial strains, strategic pivot, which we all know Ubisoft is under heavy fire and is in a financial bind. Ubisoft has been under heat for years. Delays, underperforming launches, franchise fatigue. So if this leak is accurate, it suggests something serious. They're consolidating, betting heavy on fewer, safer projects. And that's risky because Ubisoft's strength used to be variety. Experimental ideas, unexpected hints. If those are the very projects being canceled, what kind of Ubisoft are we left with? The bigger question isn't just what was lost, it's this. Is Ubisoft stabilizing or shrinking into survival mode? Because massive cancellations don't just erase games, they erase trust. All right, so this is quoted games that have been leaked to have been canceled or delayed. This is the source is Insider Gaming, and I want to give them their proper due. So the list of games that was canceled or delayed. Prince of Persia, we already know that the Sands of Time remake canceled after being first announced in 2020. I want to emphasize 2020. It's 2026. That game should have been came out. So I don't know what the fuck was going on there. Project Ether in development since 2019. So even before Prince of Persia, which was canceled but has morphed in a way into a newer project believed to have been in development at one of the external Ubisoft offices. Project Pathfinder, known previously as Project U. Project Crest, a World War II extraction shooter. That is very surprising that Ubisoft was working on an quote-unquote extraction shooter. Assassin's Creed Rebellion stopping support. I don't even know what Assassin's Creed game that is. And Assassin's Creed Singularity, this was the new mobile game, and it was an Assassin's Creed game. I'm very, very shocked that this was the mobile game, but I guess I'm not because it's one of their more well-established game franchise, so maybe that's not too crazy. So it's, like I said, it's very interesting that Ubisoft had an extraction shooter project and they canceled it because extraction shooters, with Arc Raiders Marathon coming about, extraction shooters are very, very much a popular genre right now. Like I said, to Arc Raiders' success, it's unclear based on what we know so far if the projects wasn't coming together as hoped, or if Ubisoft realized it would not be able to break into the space with people like Arc Raiders holding on to so many gamers. The last thing that this article reported on, the report from Insider Gamers also suggests that Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake, Resynced, whatever you want to call this thing, has been pushed out of the current fiscal year and is now aiming for an April 2026 reveal. Not launch, but now reveal. There is no additional details or insight about how soon that game will be released after its reveal. So even if it does reveal, I want to point out that it was supposed to have launched even before April of this year. So now they're talking about just revealing it, and it could, like we said in another video, be released in 2027. So a very, very much, reimagining about the launch of a very heavily and coveted Assassin's Creed game, which is Black Flag. A lot of people, this is one of their top, if not sometimes the top rated Assassin's Creed game in the whole entire line of the franchise titles. So like I said earlier, extraction shooter, I really kind of surprised that Ubisoft was even dipping their toe in that. And the whole Assassin's Creed mobile game, I guess more that I say it out loud, the more I can actually see them trying to capitalize Assassin's Creed franchise in the mobile game. Not really sure how that would have panned out. I mean, obviously it wasn't, when they looked at the product at the end of the day, they canceled these games for a reason. They didn't think they were good enough to sell 2026. And that says all you need to know about where these games were in development phase. And for the Prince of Persia developed, first announced in 2020, so they was probably working on it in 2018, to be honest. It's 2026. Why are you spending so much time on a remake? And I know you kind of get in the comment section and say, well, they released a visual and people didn't like it and they had to go to a drawing board. Okay, even still. So it doesn't take that long. No fucking way. And I don't really know too much about these other titles outside, Assassin's Creed products, but I mean, did you know about some of these other like Project Pathfinder press? I don't even the World War II. What was Ubisoft even thinking about some of these games they had in development? Why? I just don't understand the why in some of these things they had in the pipeline.
Okay, where do we start? Ubisoft just will not stepping on that rake and slapping themselves in the face. On one hand, you can say, well, hey, they got rid of that mobile game because, I mean, mobile games are trash. No self-respected gamer I know plays mobile games, even if it
Oh
was an
God.
Assassin's Creed game. And at this point, anything with Assassin's Creed name stuck on it is just doing that to make it sell. I kind of feel like someone needs to buy them, but then they're not worth anything. They need to go back and redo and rebuild themselves, but they did that once before and have squandered such goodwill. It's like, Ubisoft, what are we doing besides just making a mess? This is gonna sound a little off the wall. I was sad when they canceled their Prince of Persia. Hell, I was shocked people hated it so much when they showed it off and be like, okay, it was something new. Then the supposed canceling of the Black Flag.
Well, it's not canceled. It's
I don't,
postponed. It's postponed.
well, yeah, postponed. But it seems like what is Ubisoft worth of anything at this point? If not Assassin's Creed, if not Far Cry, I believe their stock is in the single digits of dollars right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then my cousin, she has loudly protest. Hey, she will not purchase any other product that they put Watch Dogs on ice, which was, as much as people hate it, I actually enjoyed that series. But it
Yeah.
seems like everything they touch is just going to waste.
Trash.
Hell, I think they're so bad, even Microsoft's not going to buy them.
Oh yeah, God no.
But the only thing I do know from them you can look forward to is a Just Dance and something open world.
I forgot they
I
make Just Dance. Holy shit.
Yeah, they do. And it ain't nothing special. In 2026, you can take 10 of any highly anticipated game. Ain't nothing of it coming from them or anyone that expected to. Even though, what was it? Oh, The Division.
Yeah.
I don't expect much from Ubisoft, and I don't think no one else does, really.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: Who and I guess it would still be Ubisoft at the end of the day. Who is probably viewed as a more trash company at this point, Bethesda or Ubisoft? And it's probably Ubisoft, to be honest, because they're just showing the shit. But they're kind of looked at in the same shitty like lens, in my opinion.
I have to probably say, yeah, it'll be Ubisoft.
Well, I don't know. The expectation for Bethesda was always higher than any expectation for Ubisoft. So I guess
Yeah.
it's the same side of different side of the same coin. I guess they're both shitty.
Yeah, because no one is really expecting anything high from Bethesda. They
At
have
this
kind
point.
of really sullied their name like real, real bad. And then you look at Ubisoft, you'd be like, oh well, I don't expect nothing from them because I mean, why would you?
Yeah.
Everything they put out is mid, it's mediocre. It takes several updates just to get it to where it should be. And if I didn't say
Microtransaction
Ubisoft,
heavy.
if I didn't say Ubisoft, you'll think that's a Bethesda game because they, they put out mid shit, needs tons of updates to break the games. It's a lot of bullshit going back and forth. And then even
Oh
now,
my god.
they have to put out a thing saying, hey, we're going back to our classic style because you kept trying to reinvent something that didn't need reinventing and you fucked
Yeah,
up.
yeah, we're getting into that too, but yeah, yeah. Listen, I really didn't think highly of any of the games that were quote unquote canceled in the mobile game. I don't know why extraction they were doing an extraction game, but listen, Ubisoft
That's what's
is in
hot
a
right now.
yeah, but even with its hotness, they still canceled it. So I just take that as it was shitty and the production was very low in value and wasn't going to make them money at the end of the day. And it takes a lot for these companies to cancel games that they've already invested millions of dollars in. And so you just got to know how bad some of these conditions of these games actually were. You just got to really put that in perspective. But let us know in the comments below if you still got hope for Ubisoft. If you still still got hope for Ubisoft, baby. You are a fucking dreamer. I don't understand, but keep the hope alive. I guess if you are still looking for another Far Cry game, Assassin's Creed game, or a Division game, listen, more power to you. But let us know in the comments below how you think and what you thought about the titles that were quote unquote canceled, and about the Black Flag now being pushed in 2027 possibly. Let us know in the comments down below. And that wraps up today's episode of Are You Not Entertained? We talked about a lot of stuff: Arc Raiders, Pokemon Day coming up, Mario League, God of War, Son of Sparta being shitty, and of course Ubisoft and its shitty tactics and its quote unquote leak games that were canceled. Let us know how you think and what you think about everything that we cover in today's episode in the comments down below. And we'll see you at the same time, same place next week's covering next week's juicy gaming titles. But until then, peace.
And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, Are You Not Entertained?